Hello, I am Bree on Twitter. I am Bree the baby. And I just kind of wanted to talk about why Andrew Yang, has my support for president in 2020. First, I'd like to talk about how I not discovered, but found him. I was actually watching the Joe Rogan podcast. I saw his podcast back in February, maybe 2 or 3 days after it was released or posted on YouTube. And I really just liked what he had to say. Honestly, his personality too kind of had me because he felt genuine. He definitely had my attention because of the universal basic income, because I'm just like, okay, this guy's running for president and he's trying to give every adult American citizen $1,000 a month. Like, because I'm sure like most people have felt that too. Like, what? No, let me see. So I watched it and it was a pretty good interview, and very shortly after that I joined Twitter just so I could follow him and see how his campaign went, because I was just like, like, I trust this guy. I'm just trying to see like if we can get this going, and like since I've just been like die hard like about him and trying to get him into office, or at least spreading information about him. So I choose Andrew Yang as president, or I would want him as president over, say, Joe Biden, just because even though Joe Biden has experience, I feel like Andrew Yang is very aware of what is happening like today in our world. Just because I would literally, like, before I found out about him, I would literally go on Google and search like, okay, predictions of the United States next 50 years, or like what's gonna happen to this country, or like is America like gone downhill? Like, I'm asking these questions about these things that I already felt because I see the problems. Everyone is like depressed, everyone is having a hard time, nobody has money, like everybody's struggling. So when Yang came out and he's talking about like, okay, well, 78% of people in America are living paycheck to paycheck, I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. And when he also came out and he was discussing about automation, I guess I hadn't really thought about automation before, but then as he said it, I was like, yeah, it's even happening at my workplace. They have found quicker and easier ways to produce, like, for like higher production quicker, and where they don't have to employ as many people. And like, can you blame them? There are people with shitty attitudes at work, don't want to be there, complain, like all this stuff, just straight miserable, gets sick, someone gets sick, and then everyone gets sick because it passes around. But if you don't have that, if there's a way to make more production with less people, like, why not? But I see that even at my own workplace. You see it at Walmart, you see it in fast food, you see it everywhere. And I guess like when he brought it up, I like, light bulb, yeah, no kidding. So I guess I appreciate him for acknowledging that, because it is something that I didn't realize was as big of a problem as it is. If you haven't, you should definitely watch American Factory, because I feel like they go into detail about that like a lot just by playing out the scenario. And I don't know, it was a really good documentary. Basically, it's about American factory workers, and they had actually worked, this was actually a GE factory. Yes, it was a GE factory that shut down, that was then bought out by a Chinese company. And when they opened up, they hired people that actually worked at that GE factory before, but at a lower rate. And they were also being paid like, okay, they were being paid less, the environment was unsafe, and these people were going on strike. They were very unhappy with the environment that they were working in. So as a resolution, this company just was like, okay, well, these people aren't working fast enough, they're causing a lot of problems, we're just going to replace them with robots were going to automate away their jobs just so that we can have quicker production and like we don't have to worry about all this extra crap. So understandable. But one thing that is concerning is that a lot of American factory workers are Black Americans, and we have already we're already in like a really shitty situation. The income gap is wild. Like, and if we get to the point where a lot of us aren't even making like any income, like what are we gonna do? Andrew Yang has even said that by 2050, the median household income for Black families is going to be 0, which that's so scary. Like, I don't know. And myself, like, I'm not working some amazing job. Like, I'm not in college. I should have gone, but I don't know. This is like literally a point for myself, even where I have to like make some serious decisions to where I can work somewhere where I know that my job isn't going to get automated away. And with Yang bringing this up, that gives me the opportunity to look for these type of jobs instead of jumping into something and then next thing you know, 10 years later, like I'm not even needed in the workforce anymore because I don't have the skills. Yeah, I don't know. That's just important. That's just important to think about, you know. My 3 favorite policies for Yang, or of Yang's, definitely his universal basic income. First and foremost, like to backtrack about like what it would do for like our community, the Black community, is the first thing I think about is businesses. Like I have a lot of cousins that have like this strong like entrepreneur mindset. You know, I have a cousin that actually has opened up her own gym and fitness center, and another one of my cousins that is very into like tech and really likes like technology and photography and web design, and he kind of wants to start his own business, and he kind of has been doing that like on his own like since he's gotten out of high school, and he's not bad. He's actually pretty good. And another one of my cousins has his own clothing line, and he's been hustling like nonstop, and he was even still in high school when he started this. So, you know, I just think about how my family and how many other people like in our community could just have that extra cash, and we'd be able to, I don't know, just breathe and then finally get ourselves out there and be the business owners that we're supposed to be or want to be. And I just imagine like the neighborhoods just being better, and I don't know, people would have, I don't know, just a nicer view of life, and we won't feel so beat down all the time. And I don't know, my city is literally so segregated. Like, you know, when you're on the Black side of town, and I'm sure it's like that for a lot of people. And honestly, they just put like $1 billion, literally $1 billion into renovating and like making the downtown, like my city, look so good. But once you cross under the bridge and you're on the south side of town, it's just like all you see is rundown buildings. The roads are trash. It's bad, and you don't see any owned businesses. You kind of do, like, but it's just not good. It's just like a complete flip, and that kind of makes me angry with my city that they are even, I don't know. So I think that if we had the money in our own hands, we could do what we want with it, and we could literally build our community up, and that's like so important to me. Another one of my favorite policies is just the legalization of marijuana, just because it's 2019 and it's literally being prescribed to people like as medicine, and it's like entirely legal in like many of our states. So let's get that taken care of. And as well, Andrew Yang would release those people that are incarcerated for like nonviolent drug offenses, which they should be. There's a lot of people and Black people currently in the prison and jail system for like virtually no reason. Like if this was a different state, it wouldn't matter. So that's another one of my favorites. And I also really like the fact that he wants to have the body cameras on all police officers. I think that that would really clear up a lot to have that video evidence in the courthouse or just wherever, just the video evidence of the interaction, just so that we can see what exactly happened, because sometimes we can't exactly trust the words of somebody else. Over time, I do believe that police brutality may go down. I understand that now, like, even with body cams, they're still just like not getting it. But I feel like if it's across the country and people are like, and if police officers are being like held accountable for like what they're doing, like, then it has to not be as happening as often as it does, because it literally just shouldn't. But with the evidence there for everyone, I do believe that it would have to go down, but we would have to rely on the system as well to hold them accountable, to go through the training, and just don't slap them on the wrist. That's it. But I think that the body cams on all of them would be a good start. So I don't know. I trust Andrew Yang like way more than the other candidates, just because I feel like he's speaking like from his heart and a complete understanding of what is actually happening in our lives. When I listen to, say, like, when I hear the other candidates talk about like, okay, we are going to rebuild the middle class, I'm like, that's literally not me. Like, I'm so broke. I'm not middle class. I'm definitely like, I don't know, I just can't relate to rebuilding the middle class. I can't relate to like eliminating college debt because I have none. And I don't know, I guess like with free college I could go to college, but I wouldn't even know what for. So when I'm looking at Yang and he's talking about universal basic income, I think about like, okay, that gives me a chance to take care of what I need to take care of at home, so that I can finally start thinking about what I can do, like with my future, with my life. You know, I can renovate my home. There's so many possibilities of what I could do, and I can tell that he cares just about like American citizens, because he knows that like we aren't doing well. Like, he just knows. So I don't know, I would just suggest really looking into Andrew Yang, because he's honestly the most genuine candidate up there. And I do believe that he's looking out. So I know this was everywhere, but this is my video for why I support Andrew Yang and why I think that you should look into him too. Especially if like you're a Black American, because I understand that like never has any candidate like been there for us. But okay, I'm only 25, I will say that, so I don't know like the entire history of ever, but this is literally a good chance to get our foot up. And I really want you to just consider and like look into him and check out his policies, and I'd like it if you looked and made your own decisions. So okay, thanks for watching. Bye.